Hey, it's Adam here, and you're watching The Culture Hack, where we're talking about how to create engaged workspaces that unlock the potential of your teams and drive your business forward in ways you've never seen. So stay tuned. Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Culture Hack. Today, I'm very excited and very pleased to have Tom Short on with me. He is the founder and chief customer officer at Kudos. Welcome, Tom. Thanks so much for coming.
I appreciate it, Adam. This is going to be a lot of fun. Love the name of the podcast, and I like what you guys do, so I think we'll have a great conversation.
Fantastic. Yeah, we were talking about all sorts of stuff before we got on, but first things first, tell us a little bit about Kudos.
Well, Kudos is an employee engagement platform that we created many years ago in my ad agency. I was just like you, running a advertising marketing firm that was heavily skewed towards interactive marketing and web development, app development, and we were struggling with some culture issues, and we needed a culture hack right after the 2008 banking crisis. And I was reading the book, First Break All the Rules, and they were talking about the Q12 and different ways that you could measure engagement to know really how your people were showing up. And I thought, wouldn't it be awesome if we could automate that? And we didn't want to move towards rewards primarily, which a lot of the old guard companies do. They try to use rewards as a carrot or a hook or an incentive to drive behavior. And we felt strongly that it was more about culture. It was more about recognition and showing gratitude and appreciation to your team, but also empowering them to do the same, to be a keeper of your culture. I'm using the word culture a lot, not because I'm just talking to you, but that's what we talk about every single day. So at the end of the day, to answer your question in short order, Kudos is basically a cultural intranet where we use the power of recognition to connect, communicate, and celebrate all the good things going on in your company, and in the process, reinforce your core values and identify key behaviors that lead to the performance outcomes that you're looking for. So that's Kudos in a nutshell.
Cool. I love that. I love the notion that recognition needs to be authentic. It doesn't matter if it's a $5 Tim Hortons gift card or some $100 prize. If it's not given with intent and meaning, then it doesn't matter, right?
100%. It has to be honest. It has to be authentic. It has to be timely, and it needs to also be associated to in a deeper way. Just don't say, "Hey, thank you, appreciate it. Here's a card." You need to actually, talk about, what is it that you're recognizing, and how did that play out in helping the organization move forward or advance a goal or achieve a specific outcome or objective that the individual was striving for. Because it's all about coaching. And every time you give recognition, you're coaching your team member and letting them know that their work is seen and valued. And that's where people start leaning in hard.
I love that. So, we're talking about recognition, and recognition is one of the tools to drive that engagement with your team. But I'm curious, what does engagement mean to you?
Yeah, engagement is personal for a lot of individuals, but from a business standpoint, it's about meeting your team where they're at, but aligning your team to the things that the business wants to achieve. And if you can express the purpose of the organization and highlight, what you're about, your why, if you're a Simon Sinek fan, and if the individual is aligned to that, then, having, different strategies and tactics to empower the people, to provide autonomy, to make things transparent, to celebrate, what you stand for, then the person will see themselves in the company. And when they do that, and they see how their contributions make a difference and are helping, live that purpose and live that vision and mission, that's when people are engaged. And it's kind of the difference between, do you have a job or are you working on something you love? And if you feel like you're just in a job, you're not engaged. But if you're doing work you love and you have the opportunity to do it every day with people that you enjoy, you're likely going to be highly engaged.
I love that. And you've helped a lot of companies with this type of thing. Do you have any stories that come to mind of businesses that you've helped, or even in your own team where they've been overcoming this challenge of culture and some success stories?
The soft stuff is the hard stuff, right? And and a lot of people think that they can accomplish the objective of being a company that shows a lot of gratitude and recognizes people. And a lot of people think that's on an anniversary, hey, thanks for hanging out for 5 years and sticking it out. We really appreciate it. Doesn't mean someone's engaged, or even, giving them something on their birthday. Now, those are all good things that you should continue doing, but everyone forgets that it's, all the stuff in between. And often managers and people, we always hear, I'm too busy. I don't have time to send recognition. Well, there's a problem there. And we see that happen all the time where, there's a say-do dilemma when, companies are suffering. They'll be saying one thing, and then when you actually, ask them to do it, they'll do another. And if they don't have a system in place to make it consistent and transparent and to empower everyone, it's really just, chaos and luck if everything goes in the right direction. And, I was at a Chicago conference speaking last week, and at the end of my pitch, it was all about, are rewards hurting your culture? Because a lot of people lean too heavily on rewards, and it creates these short-term incentives, and it becomes very expensive. And the premise was move more to recognition, and this is why, and these are the benefits. And so I asked everyone at the end of the presentation to put it into practice, and asked them all to pull out their phones and send a heartfelt message of appreciation to someone in their life. Could be a teammate, their manager, an employee, or a significant other, whoever made it possible for them to be there and, expanding their knowledge at the conference. And they all did it. And a half dozen all came up to me afterwards in the conference, just in the hallways and then on the exhibition floor and things like that. And they were, just astonished the feedback they were getting from the people that they sent the notes to. Sometimes it was just as simple as, wow, you really made my day. To one woman who came up to me and sent a note to her boss about how much she appreciated how he was supporting her and her career development and, and being at the conference. And, she's never really stopped to say, thank you for all that you do for me. And she said he was a pretty, buttoned up kind of guy. And the message he sent back was, I think I'm going to cry. This is the nicest message anyone's ever sent to me. Mm-hmm. So it's just interesting things like that people, overlook and think that they can just do it tomorrow or the next day or the next day. People need to act in the moment. And there's 100 other funny stories of where people, are astonished, like, wow, that really works, kind of a thing. You're like, really? Like, told you, kind of a situation. So it's, we could go on for hours about some of the other stories. I'd have to think about it. Maybe that's a whole separate podcast on the weirdest things I've seen at Kudos. But
I like that. Maybe that's a sequel.
It's fun. Yeah, you betcha.
So looking to the future, people that are using Kudos, do you see them including recognition when they're planning, their year, whether it's part of the budgeting process or part of their strategy? Like, what do you see for the future of engagement?
Yeah, more so now than ever before. When we started, we were so brand new and people were like, what is this? Like peer-to-peer recognition, why do I need it? Can't I just send an email? We're already doing it. We give everybody a trophy every 5 years, kind of a situation. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to work, but here's what we're doing. So it was a bit of an uphill slog for the first several years because we were trying to convince people that this was a better way of going. But actually when COVID hit and everybody went home and now everyone's kind of in a hybrid work environment and everyone's trying to figure out how do we bring people together? How do we create that community? And with the changing of the guard, with the various generations of Ys and Zs coming in, they want a lot more than what the boomers and the Xers wanted and how they worked. So we are seeing more and more companies really thinking about how do I, connect my remote teams, how do I, project my brand and my message to engage the team, and how do I cut down on spending too much on rewards and streamline what it's there so that I can actually give people what they want. And so all of those things, are kind of lining up, and we are seeing many more clients coming to us ready to buy because they need the solution. Whereas 4 or 5 years ago, we were doing more of the convincing. They're now coming to us and are already drinking the Kool-Aid and ready to go.
I love that. The power of recognition. I feel like we could go and talk like this for hours. I'll have to buy you lunch sometime, Tom. But
yeah, we're in the same town. That's unusual.
Yeah, right. Look at that. Thanks so much for taking time and coming on the show and sharing your insights with us. I hope people find some gems in there, and I really appreciate it.
You betcha. You betcha. Thank you again for inviting me. I really appreciate being able to share our story and hopefully, convincing a few folks to, show a little appreciation to their team.
Hey, thanks for watching The Culture Hack. Do you want to chat culture and engagement? Give us a call and come on the show.